Well, good morning. Welcome to our Costa Women's Zoom for this week. And as you can see, there's three of us on screen. So it's really rather exciting because this is the first one of about 150 million recordings that we've done. That I think this is the first one for ages or even ever that I've had three of us on there. But it's quite an interesting topic today. It's all about what we can do to help keep children, the loves of our lives, occupied during the summer months. And we have two special guests on today. We've got Karen from Roundabout Spain. And we've got Andrea from Inspired. Oh, you're the kids coach, but you're Inspired Kids.
Yes.
Oh,
Hi.
Could you speak to me again?
I can speak to you. Hello. Good morning.
Oh, right, that's okay. Right. Well, as you're speaking first, Andrea, do introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Sure. So my name is Andrea, and on the Costa here, I'm known as the kids coach. So what I do is I work with children and families, and I help them to learn life skills, solve problems, and just take away all those big worries that can impact on self-esteem and friendships. So I work with children and families to make life a bit happier, a bit more confident, and boost that self-esteem.
Okay. What sort of age range do you work with?
So children from 6s all the way through teenagers, and even the big kids that are taller than me. So,
Okay. Cool. And Karen, just explain a little bit about what you do, because you actually do have children well, in that range. They're not so little anymore, are they? They're getting so
yeah, no. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, my children are 12 and 9, and Roundabout Spain is in England, but so Roundabout Spain was just a part-time hobby that's kind of grown.
And what do we have on Roundabout Spain? Because we lost you a little bit there. It might have been okay in the replay there, but just tell us a little bit about Roundabout Spain.
It's an online directory. It basically lists, I think there's about 900 to 1,000 listings now of activities, clubs, kid-friendly dining, retail outlets that are suitable for children. So it's an online directory. The idea is basically you just go on there, click to what you want to do to find a link. Mm-hmm. And we do all sorts of things throughout the year, extra shows that we put up on Facebook, so promotional activities for summer clubs, Easter camps, and so on.
Mm-hmm. Andrea, you're one of the services featured on Roundabout Spain. So we're going to talk a little bit about how someone like yourself, with your expertise in a professional capacity, you've got an ebook as well, haven't you, on 50 things to do with your children?
I have.
So tell us some of your top favourites on that.
Top favourites. Well, I think one of the things parents are looking for is to be creative with their kids, have that balance between time with their children and time to themselves, because life doesn't stop, running your business doesn't stop, running your family home doesn't stop. So they're looking for inexpensive, creative tools and techniques and things to do. So one of the things that makes life quite stressful is when you've got to take the kids to the supermarket. So one of the things in the ebook is about surviving the supermarket, turning it into a detective game. So making it into a theme, even before you've got in the car, letting the kids know that you're going to the supermarket, turning it into a detective theme, giving the children a list of 1 or 2 things that they've got to get. So you can park your trolley at the top of the aisle, you can got both eyes on them, because you know that horrible feeling when you're in the supermarket, you can't see your kids, and they've got to kind of go and get the item and then come back. One mum said to me, I find it stressful because they always want something, you know, and sometimes if money's a bit tight or you're trying to avoid high doses of sugar, so she said, what can I do? So one of my other tips in there is you give them a budget, €1, €2, it doesn't matter. It's up to you to set that, and you can say, right, here's your €2. You can buy whatever you want, but that's it. And you can eat it whenever you want, but that's it. You get another €2 next week, and if that, you know, they'll come back, and some of them might have something big, something small. doesn't matter. That's their limit. And then if they eat it all the sweets on Monday, that's it. They don't get any more that week. And if you can hang on to that, if you can stick to it, then the next week they're so much more careful about what they're buying. It's still a fun game.
Yeah.
And they'll be more responsible with how they're using it. So it just takes some, even turning it a trip to the supermarket into something, you know, a different game.
It's a bit like it's a negotiation strategy. So Karen, you are chief negotiator in your house. and we've often
I think my 9-year-old is the chief negotiator, quite frankly.
We've often read with amusement the conversations that you have with Sol and Luna. And I think some of those things would work well with your guys, but have you had the 2-year-old tantrum trauma situation in the supermarket? And how did you deal with it in the past?
Oh, you know, I don't recall mine having the 2-year-old tantrums. I think mine hit about sort of 7 and 8 when they were a bit bigger and harder to handle. The supermarket, yeah, pretty much what Andrea said. I used to do that. It used to be, right, go off down that aisle and find a certain item and come back. The idea about giving them a bit of money at the start to spend, that's a great idea. I wish I'd thought of that one a while ago.
I used a strategy with mine.
Yeah, the whole thing, like, I need yogurt, you go and get the yogurt, yeah. I need milk, you go and get the milk.
Yeah, we when my girls started it at like reception in the UK, they were given a sheet with tasks, with things, activities that they could do in the classroom, and they had to pick 4 for that session, and that's all they were allowed to do. And if there was time left over, they might get to pick another one, but they sort of rotated the children based on what they wanted. So we started doing that at home as well with certain things or activities, or if we went out to the supermarket shopping. I remember Chloe's face when she had earned £1 worth of spending, but based on whatever rewards were available that week. And we'd given it to her in pennies so she could see, so it looked like a lot. And then she decided she wanted to spend it all in the Body Shop. And the £1 wasn't going to go that far. However, she wanted those little soap balls that they did. But you should have seen the look on her face when she handed over the money and it all disappeared. that wasn't very easy to explain. But yeah, I think those sorts of things are really good if you can stick to them. So
and actually, when children work out that it's their money they're handing over, they are so much more careful and responsible about what they're asking for, because suddenly they realise, well, it's mine, you know. And so it's a really good life skill to do, but it is sticking to it. But one of the ways to help with that is to sign a little agreement. And again, you make it a game. You get the kids to design a little contract, and it's just on a piece of paper, and you know, you write on it, okay, I agree, I have €2 to spend it on whatever I want, but when it's done, and they have to sign their signature so they can go away and practice their signature, because that's a big thing with kids. They will
try to renegotiate that contract very easily, but you do a lot of physical activities as well, don't they, your children? And what do you have on roundabout Spain at the moment with regards to summer camps? Have you got a couple that you could tell us about?
Summer camps, gosh, there's about 80 listed.
Wow.
Yeah, and I don't even know if that's probably 70% of the camps that are out there. So there's still some that we've missed. But it's a good range.
See those underneath the video, no doubt, and so people can go straight to those perhaps. So
yeah, there's some really interesting ones. There's a film camp. I thought that was an interesting one. This year I found a gamers camp where they go and learn about gaming and coding and all that sort of stuff for the kids that are a bit more technical minded. That one's in Malaga. You know, there's horse riding camps, there's football camps, and they range from, you know, very expensive to actually very reasonable. My thing has always been that I have to work in July. I have August holidays, but in July I still have to work. So ever since they were born, I've had to find something for them to do for that month of July. because me looking after them isn't an option.
Yeah.
So I've always researched, been a bit of an obsession of mine, summer camps for them somewhere to go. Most municipalities will have their own summer camp, which are extreme. I mean, the one in Coeen is €70 for the month.
Wow.
And it's at one of the schools, and they do swimming, crafts, some activities and so on. It's basic, but it keeps them occupied till 2:00, keeps them there with their friends, keeps their Spanish going. Yeah. And they're very reasonable, and I think most towns have those activities. And then you've got the private run ones that are a bit more exciting, and maybe as they get older they can do the language camps that they go and help with English.
Yeah.
Teaching people English and so on.
Yeah. Oh, Andrea, I just thought of something that maybe we'll ask you to prepare and that we can share, because here's a thought. It's the transition then from summer holiday back to school.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a nightmare.
I mean, I know we haven't finished school yet. We've got the summer but it is also the impending sickness as a parent. You start to feel, oh God, it's going to start again. And I've got to get back into the frame of mind for school.
Back into routine.
I think that one of the things is at the beginning of the holidays, kind of having a plan of all the things you want to do and having ideas and tracking those ideas, but also having a countdown so that children are aware, because there's nothing worse than that bucket of cold water shock where you've had 10 weeks of pure bliss and then bang, Monday morning back to school. So I think it's about that careful transition. We're going back to school. It's great in the summer holidays. You've got lots of late nights, just staying up a bit later. So just gradually that week or two, just even if it's 10 minutes a day, just slightly earlier, going through the school bags, making sure they've done everything. Start talking about, expectations, digging out their school report, going over targets and things, and just generally bringing it back into the conversation and something that's positive, rather than you won't be able to do this anymore because it's back to school, which can come across as negative. You want the children to be looking forward to going back, and a new teacher and new friends and a new classroom, and it's full of optimism. So it is just about preparing them 1 or 2 weeks before, getting the uniform out, going shoe shopping because they can do school shoes, all that kind of thing, but just making it into a positive rather than going back.
Well, listen, we've been having a good little chat. I'm sure there's lots of more ideas that we could be talking about, but let's just have a quick thought about, this is for Costa women. Can you give me, as ladies that have obviously, you've come over, you're both from England, aren't you, originally? Or Inglaterra?
Was that for me? I didn't catch that last bit, sorry.
You're from England originally, aren't you, Karen?
Yes, from near Manchester.
So what, and you've been here a wee while now, but if there's any Costa women or potential Costa women thinking of moving over here with their family and their children, what would be one of your sort of top tips or strategies, the must-do items on the list before coming over or when you get here?
I think bar all the usual, do your research, rent before you buy, check your schools, check your locations. I think for me, being here quite a while, I think my advice would be just don't compare it. Stop comparing it to what you had wherever you're from, whether it's England, Denmark or America, because it halts you. I get a lot of people asking me, what do you think of the education here compared to England? I don't know, because my kids are taught here. I was educated in England, but that was, a long time ago. So things have changed anyway. So I can't compare it. So it is what it is. The education system's here is very good. It might be worse than England. It might be slightly better in some aspects, but you can't keep dwelling what it might be. I think you have to focus and say, right, if you've made the move, you go for it. You give it 100%. If it doesn't work out for whatever reason, then you've lost nothing, and then you can either, move on or, change direction. If you spend all your time talking and comparing things, it's human nature, that's obvious, and people do chat about it, but to dwell on it is you know, I have a lot of friends who worry so much about the education system because they're constantly comparing it to what their friends' children are doing.
Right.
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
I don't think
and
you
each
can.
child's different as well, so
It's not different, and it's about the whole thing, isn't it? It's not just about education. It's not just about the sunshine. It's not just about activities. It's everything. And if you're getting a good vibe from everything, then it's worth the move.
Yeah. Okay. And Andrea, same question to you.
I very much agree with what Karen said, and I think it's also about patience. You know, things run differently here. Things are very different. And yes, if you're constantly saying, well, in the UK it was all efficient, or it was somewhere else, you made a great decision to move over here. Be patient, because things take time, and you want everything set up immediately. You want to be settled. But I think really accepting that you've moved to a different culture, things are done differently, expectations are different, the systems are different, and embrace it, because that's part of it. Yeah. Sometimes it's frustrating, but it can be frustrating in whatever country you decide to move, because you're out of your comfort zone. So I think just accepting those differences and just a bucket load of patience, and reach out to people, because we've all done it, and we know how complicated it can be, and how, you know, frustrating, but how incredible it can be as well. So yeah, patience and reach out.
Yeah, I mean, it has been, I know for both of you, you've had quite journeys here, and Karen, your children are just delightful. And the diversity that they now have living here as well, you know, and especially like with Kyra, my granddaughter as well, the way they flip between the two languages as well, I think that's pretty impressive just on its own. But I think your points are really good. So don't compare, and it is different. And I know that when you say that to people who are just landed or just about to come, they cannot appreciate how different it is. But you do just need to be open to it and things like that. So thank you, ladies. So before we go, just remind me each of your websites for the people watching. Andrea, what's the name of your website?
So my name's Andrea, and I'm the kids coach. So my website is www.inspiredlearning.es. So come over and have a look, and I hope to see you.
And we can download your ebook from there, yeah?
Next week, it'll be online next week. So yeah, there's my latest blog post about managing expectations for the end of school year. So that's on the website now. We're going on Facebook tomorrow on Inspired Kids, but the ebook will be there next week. Yeah, 50 tips, inexpensive, less screen time, help you survive and enjoy the summer with you.
Fabulous. And Karen, the name of your website?
Is roundaboutspain.com.
And it's all about kids and what you can do with them and all the different stuff.
Yes, it's a directory. If people are interested in the summer camps, if they go to education and then down to summer camps, the full listing is there. We update it every year.
Yeah, and of course it's we're talking about it in terms of a service for parents, but there could be people watching who are in the business of providing a service for children, and they could get in contact with you and become listed on there as well, couldn't they?
Absolutely, it's a free listing. Everyone's listed for free, and then there are upgrades. But yeah, if anyone's got a service or a business, just all the details are on the website to get in touch.
Okay, well, I shall let you both go out into the glorious day that we have here. Very, very blessed to have such lovely weather. It's a little bit on the warm side, but we both say that because we're going to be moaning about the rain.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, ladies. And I look forward to hearing more about all things that have been happening in the next few months very, very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Fiona. Thank you. Bye.